Hi friend, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are already subscribed. My name is Taylor and I'm a witch here on YouTube. We talk about tarot, astrology, and all things esoteric, and today we are going to be talking about the upcoming new moon in Gemini. This is a very exciting new moon because Jupiter just entered Gemini, so this is a perfect time to plant your seeds of intention, do any of your manifestation techniques, journaling, things like that are perfect for this new moon, and you can see where in your chart for your rising sign is going to be optimized for manifestation and for planting those new seeds. All of the timestamps for each of the rising signs will be linked down below. If you do not know your rising sign, that's okay, but keep in mind the most accurate reading will be for your rising sign because that is your chart ruler. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into your rising sign. Hi Aries, so this new moon in Gemini is happening in your third house of communication. So because you're a fire sign, sometimes you can tend to act first and then think later, and this new moon is a good opportunity for re-evaluating your methods of communication, how you give and receive information from the outside world, and especially during this time, I would like for you to ask thorough questions. If you feel like something's wrong, continue to ask questions, continue to push that communication, because the card that I pulled for you is number 22, set your course, know where you will go, have a plan and the right direction. And the first thing I thought with this card, especially given that the new moon is happening in your third house of communication, is duplicity. There might be someone who is setting out to dupe you, especially with that Gemini kind of like trickster energy. There could be a two-faced energy overall, like in your life, coming from somebody else, like somebody who's trying to get you to sign a deal or a contract, whether that be with like a roommate, a business deal, anything like that. Make sure you ask thorough questions, make sure you know what you are getting yourself into, and then you should be all good. But do not neglect that area of your life when you are approaching things. Again, you can have that impulsivity and it might seem too good to be true on the outside, and that's because it is. Make sure you ask questions and follow your intuition. Hi Taurus, this new moon in Gemini is affecting your second house of money, skills, and resources. So what does this mean for you? Well, this means that you could be having some new realizations around the ways that you make money, your finances in general, and just the amount of stress that you have around maybe your financial stability or the way that you budget things. Anything like that could be the spotlight of this new moon here. So this is asking you to examine the ways where's your money going towards? Are you too obsessed with money? Is there a good balance of giving and receiving money in your life? Meaning, are you spending those things on yourself in a way that is indulgent and over the top, or are you so strict with your money that you're not spending it at all? This new moon wants you to re-examine that, and also re-examine your beliefs around money and how limiting those might be. How much money do you think you can make? How little money do you think you can make? Things like that. Your tarot card is number 42, mortality. Life is brief, bright, beautiful, and yours to live. So this does make me think a lot of Taurus risings here are erring on the side of holding onto their money so tight. They feel like they can't hold on to it enough, like it's always slipping through their fingers. And this new moon is asking you to reevaluate that, because yes, money is important in the material world that we live in, but the bigger picture here is that life is brief, bright, and beautiful, and how can we spend our money on things that give us pleasure, on things that make us happy, while also keeping our rent paid, our bellies full, and our futures secured. Hi Gemini, you are obviously the star of this new moon because it is happening in your home sign, and therefore because it's a new moon, it's happening in your first house of self. So what does this mean for you? Well, how do you want to reinvent yourself? How do you want the world to see you? How do you want to see yourself? Are there any physical or emotional, mental, internal changes that you want to make about yourself and how you project yourself to the outside world? This means, do you want to do your hair differently? Do you want to dress differently? Who is the version of you now, and how little or big can that be? Meaning, like, how small do you want the changes to be? How big do you want the changes to be? There are no limits here, because especially with the Jupiter in Gemini as well, this is an extra special new moon for you, and it's extra emphasized on you reinventing yourself and how the world sees you, as well as how you see yourself. So your oracle card is number 18, no need to fear. Remember how powerful you are. Yes, so this is a great time for you to sit down with a journal and honestly, like just write how you want to be seen. You can write, I am enchanting, I am captivating, everybody loves to talk to me. However you want to be perceived in the world, and more importantly, how you want to perceive yourself, make that very clear in planting those seeds around this new moon this year. Hi Cancer, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 12th house of subconscious patterns and hidden enemies. So I want you to be on the lookout at this time of who is being two-faced in your life. Somebody might be trying to dupe you here, and you want to pay extra attention to your spidey senses and your intuition when the new moon in Gemini calls your attention to somebody who might not be saying everything that they're thinking. It could be somebody who's presenting themselves one way but is quite in reality in a different way. So an example of this, and this isn't going to be the case for everybody, could be somebody who is pretending to be really friendly to you, pretending to only have good intentions for you, but deep down they actually have a hidden vendetta against you. That's why they're a hidden enemy. Your tarot card is number 29, find the lesson. Discover the purpose in a situation, trust that you are learning. So the important thing here is, even though this may very well be a time that you're saying goodbye to this person or saying goodbye to a pattern in general, it could be also if you're duping yourself. It doesn't have to be somebody else necessarily. You're getting duped by someone, whether it's yourself or somebody else is going to be up to you in your individual life, and you need to follow your intuition to see which one of that it is. But the important thing that this new moon in Gemini is teaching you is how to find the lesson, how to find the purpose in this situation, knowing that it didn't just happen to hurt your feelings, but instead is teaching you maybe to be more, to ask, it's teaching you to maybe ask more questions and not just take everybody at their face value in the future. The purpose of this new moon in Gemini here is to teach you that maybe not everybody has your best intentions at mind and how to better protect yourself in the future. Hi Leo, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 11th house. So this is also your house of hopes, wishes, aspirations, also just networking if you're on any sort of social media, things like that. You may very well have something in mind that you want to do or achieve. So this could be a personal or professional dream, but no matter what it is, this new moon can be the perfect time to set your intention to go after these dreams. And the best way to stick with it at this time is surrounding yourself with people and networks that support you. That's why I mentioned the networking as well. So people who have similar interests, or just plain people who support you and they want to uplift you in your creative pursuits. Your community in general at this time can help you achieve your dreams. This could also very likely be a time where you find a community of like-minded people to connect with and help uplift you and inspire you. So your tarot card is 41, forget who you are. This card talks about conditioning falling away. It talks about memory no longer defining you. And this means like kind of setting aside the parts of yourself that don't align with this new vision and this new dream that you're trying to create, and saying goodbye to those, tucking those away, because those are only there because you defined them in the first place. But you can always create a new definition of self, and that is the goal of this new moon for you. Hi Virgo, so this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 10th house of career and legacy. These next 6 months can be absolutely life-changing for you. It is very likely that you will have a wonderful opportunity at work to go the distance in your career path during this time. You could also use this as a chance to juggle different professional aspirations that you have. So if you want to have like a side hustle and start your own business, or you want to just employ different streams of income at this time, this is a perfect opportunity to do so. And it's also a perfect opportunity for you to gain recognition in the workplace. If you have been gunning for a promotion or any sort of on-the-job training, this is an ideal time to set those intentions and even ask your boss about something like that. So if you remain flexible and stay consistent here, you could definitely accomplish so much within this short window of 6 months here. This is a very dedicated time towards your career and very much universally supported. So your tarot card is going to be 44. You can't go back to yesterday. Be in the present. And what this means in relation to your reading is, I'm seeing this as like your career dream here, and you're sort of protecting it, right? And as you're getting more work responsibilities, you're sort of wondering, oh man, like maybe I took for granted like when I didn't have as many things on my plate in the past. But this is your reminder that you would not have these opportunities presented to you if you were not ready for them. So take full advantage of that and set your best foot forward, knowing that you have the skills and the tools to do so successfully. Hi Libra, so this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 9th house of exploration and higher education. And in general, you might be feeling a little bit scattered around this time because the new moon itself is happening in a fellow air sign such as Gemini. And yourself as a Libra might be feeling a little bit scattered and a little bit like it's hard to narrow your focus in on one thing it is that you want to achieve. At this time, you may be seeing so many things that you want to do, you want to try, you want to set goals towards, that it's a little hard for you to narrow focus in on one thing. Setting a few initial goals around what you would like to accomplish in the future, whether it's related to education, whether it's related to research in different areas, or say if you want to travel to specific places. You're not going to be able to travel to everywhere all at the same time, all at once, right? So setting a few realistic goals is the way to go with this new moon. You might be feeling like your attention is drawn all over the place, but really sitting with yourself and taking time to ask what it is that you are trying to accomplish will be your best friend during this new moon here. Otherwise, if we don't set goals with anything, then we haven't set any goals at all. So you might be thinking that you're dreaming too small or something like that by only setting a few goals, but instead you're taking consistent, slow efforts towards achieving bigger things because you have a lot of life to live and therefore you can achieve a lot of these goals over time anyway. So instead, I would identify a few of them and work towards that. Your tarot card is number 43, Manage to be Glad. Create your own happiness regardless of conditions. Yeah, a lot of this could be coming from a fear-informed mindset of not having enough, not doing enough, things like that. And I encourage you to try to let go of some of those things by, again, like setting those goals and holding on to your vision for those instead of thinking, I don't have enough, I'm not doing enough, and getting caught up in the I'll never be enough mindset of this new moon that could potentially happen. Hi Scorpio, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 8th house. So this is really a new moon that's asking you, is it time for you to evolve? And if so, where in your life do you need to evolve? What do you need to set aside? Because the 8th house deals with matters of complex finances, transformation, and intimacy. It could be any one of these areas or all of them that you feel that you have grown stagnant in and you need to release and expand out of it. Your self-mastery will depend on what you want to focus on. So this lunar cycle in general could potentially teach you valuable lessons regarding how you show up in intimate relationships, how authentic you are to yourself, because the tarot card I pulled for you is number 38. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. So it's very likely at this time, I think for a lot of Scorpio risings, that you're realizing that maybe you're not showing up as your most authentic self in your intimate relationships. This could be emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, sexual intimacy, anything like that. You feel like you're not being true to who it is that you really are. This could also be a time where you're learning valuable financial lessons through assets, debts, and savings. This could be a time where you realize maybe you need to get control over your credit card usage or the usage of funds from another person, because the 8th house deals with financial matters that like borrowed credits, things like credit cards, loans, other people's finances, things like that. So this could be a time where you might be being cut off from a partner or from a parent, or you could just be realizing that you need to cut down usage on your credit cards. It could be any or all of these things. So keep on a lookout for what it is exactly for you and how this moon overall is asking you to evolve and what you need to sever the ties with, cut, and move on from. Hi Sag, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. So this means that you are hot on the market right now, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not. A lot of people are feeling attracted to your energy. They're feeling like they want to be in a relationship with you. And if you are in a relationship or kind of like in the beginning stages of a relationship, it's very likely that these things will be taken to the next level during this time period. And it's a big reminder from this new moon that depending on what you want here, you could either use this period to refine your current commitments, or this is a time to say goodbye to old relationships, old commitments. If you've been like talking to somebody casually, we'll say, and you're ready to cut them loose and move on into something maybe more serious or more well suited for you, this is a good time to do this. So regardless of if you're single, in a relationship, talking to somebody, whatever your status might be, this is a good time for you to get clear on what it is that you do want in a partner and what it is that you don't want. Because one thing that's very important to you as a Sagittarius is your freedom. You want to belong to yourself ultimately, and this is reinstated by your tarot card. Number 32, belong to your own dream, live your own life. This is something that's very important to you. So if you're in a relationship in the beginning stages of one or far into one and you're realizing this person doesn't support your individualism and your want for independence, your need for independence, really, this is time to say goodbye to that. And on the flip side, like if you're in a partnership and you're like, wow, this person really understands my need to have my own life, to have my own creative pursuits, things like that, then this is a good time for you to take those things to the next level. Hi Capricorn, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 6th house of health, work, and routines in general. So it's likely that this 6-month lunar cycle will be an insanely productive period for you, so you could kickstart a new healthy routine. You could focus on eating better, kicking up your efforts in the gym, or just implementing more organization, more productivity things into your daily life in general. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Capricorn risings here are learning the way to kind of maximize their time to make their life the most organized and most functional and practical as possible. It's also likely that during this period you might feel like you are constantly running, you are constantly on the move, you're never giving yourself a break. So not so much during the new moon in Gemini itself happening on June 6th, but during the next 6-month period, make sure that you have a healthy balance of productivity and rest between those two things, because it's very easy for you to get caught up right now in the constant go, 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 and like, is this practical? Like, do I need to lay down and take a nap right now? If you need the nap, take the nap if you can, because this oracle card here, 26, it's always tea time, eternity, endless moments, repetition, tells me that there's a part of you that's feeling really fed up with doing the same old day in and day out. You feel like your life is constantly, you're waking up and doing the same shit every day. So asking yourself how you can support your routines and your practicality while also at the same time not making life feel like it's monotonous and day in and day out the same thing over and over. Hi Aquarius, so this new moon is happening in your 5th house of joy, self-expression, and romance. So creativity and fun are the spotlight of your new moon here, and also the lunar cycle for the next 6 months. So this is illuminating your passions and your creativity. You could feel more confident exploring your curiosities as you enjoy different hobbies and putting in. One thing I got really strongly for Aquarius, like when I was channeling with the oracle card, which I will show you in a second, is that it's likely that a lot of thought has gone into some creative project here. So I'll give a couple examples. Like if you've been thinking, I really want to do this painting, or I really want to write this poem or write this book. Instead of just thinking about it, you're planting the seeds here during this new moon on how you can make it grow into a big and beautiful project. And if it's unrelated to creativity and instead in regards to your dating life, you're thinking, what is it that I actually want in a partner? You're dating with intentionality, and even if that intentionality, and it should be because it's in the 5th house, is about just having fun, who do you want to have fun with? What does that look like? Because you don't want to have fun with just anybody. Just like you don't want to accomplish your project in just any way. You want to do it the right way, which brings me to your oracle card, the right way. It's about learning to create what you desire, and by doing so, you're planting the seeds and you're taking real, consistent, practical efforts into making something big and beautiful. Hi Pisces, so this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 4th house of home and family. What does this mean? Well, this is a time that you will likely want to gather more information about your family lore. It's likely that you'll want to trace back any sort of generational curses, any sort of generational patterns, any sort of generational glimmers, because everyone always talks about generational curses, but sometimes we have generational glimmers as well. So things that your bloodline has been blessed with, but you're trying essentially to trace those things back to learn more about your family in general and how that relates to yourself. So don't be surprised if you're in touch with your family at this time, if deep discussions around your family history and genealogy are prompted during this new moon. Your tarot card is number 5, Becoming Braver. It is about resilience, experience, growing stronger, and gaining a fresh perspective. So even if this is a time where you're not super interested in diving into your genealogy, it is about connecting with family and understanding how they relate to you, how their presence in your life makes up your identity, and how your presence in their life makes up their identity, and how you are stronger as a unit.